Much for joining us here at our Educational Community Civic Series with our special guest, Liv Bennett. But before we get started, please subscribe. Am I echoing? I don't know why I'm echoing. I don't know why I'm echoing. Do you hear me echoing?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay, cool. So please subscribe, like, share, and we just have a special edition tonight. Just a special edition to ask some questions to our council woman Liv Bennett about her race, and I know I have questions, and so I would rather ask you instead and get it straight from you and see what's going on with you and the race. And so, first and foremost, how have you been?
I'm I'm good, and I'm glad. Thank you for having me, and I'm so thankful that you wanted to hear this straight from me. And you know how these streets are like. He
Right.
out here playing the telephone game and acting like it's factual, actual. So
Exactly, exactly. And so I want to have facts. I want to know exactly. So I'm not going to go to nobody else except you.
yeah,
So and first and foremost, now the last time we talked, you was in the middle of the race. You was dead smack in it. You were excited. Um, you was running for the county exec. What happened?
whew, we in Allegheny County, sis.
Let's start there. Let's
Yep,
start there.
we are in Allegheny County where they treat Black women terribly. And
Okay.
that doesn't change when you're running for something, right? So the support was low, the money was low, it was really just me and a couple people running all over the county trying to make it happen. And that's not sustainable. Um,
Yeah.
but it really was a litmus test to see where we were as a region. If when what we talked about when the gender equity report came out, was that just mere words, or did we mean it?
Mm.
I'll leave you to your own opinions on that, but I have mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and yeah, I feel like I feel like we say a lot of things, but when we're actually presented with the opportunities to have them, we do something else.
Yeah, yeah. So now let's talk about that. So let's because I'm glad you brought up the equity report. I'm glad you brought that up. Um, you feel that you were not supported. I don't know why I hear an echo. You feel you were not supported from the Black community, within the Black community, or um, because you said you wasn't getting funding, and you on your team, people you didn't have a large team. Now, or you saying that is the main reason is because you're Black, because you're a Black woman, um, or
Um, Only answer I have is yes.
okay,
Because when I think about and I hear what folks are saying they want in elected officials, when I hear the qualifications that it takes to be an elected official, I've been doing that work and I hold those
mm,
those
titles.
prereqs, right?
Hmm.
So I've been out here in the street organizing. I've organized and led many protests. I've helped found and actively participate in the Black Equity Coalition to bring about equity in this region. I've helped found and work on POC, which has done a lot of work around policing accountability. I helped to get the Independent Police Review Board passed. That has been a advocacy point for the last 30 odd years. So what we say we want in a leader, when we have that and that person's doing the thing right, um
Hmm.
that's the advocacy and that side. On on the education side, I have a bachelor's in
Mhm.
business management. I have a master's in public policy and management. So like, I mean, other than like, I mean, nobody out here is Jesus. Nobody out here is walking on water. So, um, again, when we have a qualified Black woman running for the position, we still decide to go with the status quo and support the liberal white woman,
Mhm.
who does not have the lived experience, or the establishment white men that have been in politics for the last couple decades and had plenty of opportunity to do the things that they want, that they're saying that they want to do, and have not done them. So I don't again, it's just a little confusing for me as to why and what was happening, especially in real time when you're really experiencing these things in real time. You're like, am I in an alternate universe? Like, what's happening? So, yes, though, I think that it does have a lot with me being a Black woman, because we are very, we are very steeped in white supremacy. We are very steeped in the fact that we believe that white people are the only people that can solve our problems. We erase. Um,
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many times folks have erased my work, and act like I didn't do all this work on council in the last, 3 years. And that's not why I was doing the work, but like, dang, can I at least get credit for what I've been doing?
Yeah.
Um, and tokenism, right? Like, um, raising up certain Black people and saying, oh, well, we are supporting Black people. Look at them, right? So all of those things mixed all together with some sexism and misogyny and all the isms, and yeah, you
Okay.
get it.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel that and I've had this conversation with your team as well. Do you feel that the relationships or the let me see the relationships, the building that is being built in Pittsburgh, well, in Allegheny County and PA, I should say. Um, do you feel that it is worth one, a conversation, two, yeah, one, a conversation, because what we what I fear personally is that when we assume this is what I'm thinking, someone else is thinking. And so do you feel like that, or do you feel that what you're thinking is 100% solidified?
I mean, of course, there's always room for conversation. However, I would be a little.
Yeah.
I take it with a grain of salt, because I've heard people expressly say that they want these certain things, and then we don't do it. So, I'm over people's words, if I'm being honest, because
Okay.
what we say and what we do don't match. You can say whatever you want to say, but when the rubber meets the road, where is that landing?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, first we gotta appreciate. Well, I have to appreciate that. What you first said was, of course, everything is up for discussion, and so it's always time to have a conversation. So I honestly respect that. Now, so are you on the ballot? Or you running independent? Tell us about that.
So, yeah, I'm off the ballot right now. I will not be on the ballot for the primary for either seat. So I withdrew my petitions and am running independent. We're really concentrated on my county council seat at the moment, because we understand that seat, of course, we had our eye on the executive seat, because why wouldn't we make sure that there was some type of representation in this race, that is the first time that the seat's been opened in 12 years, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
of course we wanted to make sure that we're throwing our hat in that race. However, we also understand that the importance and the work that has been done from the seat that I currently hold, and we don't want to take that for granted. And so we're really going to concentrate on that seat. And we'll see what happens in the primary and have those talks, discussions. But it's not a not now. It's not a not ever. It's just not a not now.
Okay, okay. And that, well, you're opened up the segue to my next question. Because my next question was, what is next? What's next? What's next for Liv? Um, or, are you ready to tell us? Or is it, or are you ready to tell us, or is it something, watch me work, watch my moves?
Hey, I mean, like, really?
You want to spill it now? You
I
want to
mean, this is a little jaded, right? This a little jaded. So, in all honesty, I was having conversations a year or 2 years ago, talking about my plans to run for county executive and see where that landed, right?
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I might not be a little as forthcoming in the future, but I'm being really honest right now that we are really concentrated on this
Okay.
county council seat. I do have a challenger, so it's not like you know um, that it's just me, and I'm running unchallenged. I do have a challenger. That challenger will be on the ballot on May 16th as the Democratic candidate. So we don't want to act like that seat is just going to be there,
Mhm.
and that is going to be mine if we don't do the work. So we really do have some work to get done. We need 350 signatures to get on the ballot as an independent. So we're going to be out there hitting
Okay.
the pavement again, collecting those signatures because we did collect a bunch before too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll be doing that, and yeah, just really concentrating on fundraising, house parties, and just getting out in the community and letting people know that I'm still running and I'm still going to be on the ballot. So yeah, like that's really what's going on right now,
Yeah.
other than the work that I'm always doing. So we do have some things going on council that is coming down the pike, and of course the juvenile justice study group that I will have a seat on. And so I am the chair of the on the committee of public safety. So just keep your eyes out. I am working. Again, I'm not taking the seat for granted, and I haven't stopped working just because I'm in election seasons. Like I believe that we can walk and chew gum, and again, I can show you better than I can tell you. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna show
Okay.
them better than I can tell them at this point.
Right, right. But I'm glad, because I wanted to ask, because I know that there was some people that was thinking that, that if for anyone that was, I should not assume, for anyone that was thinking that Liv was not running for her county seat, that you are running for the county seat. It's just that your name is not on the ballot. You need 300 and some odd signatures so Liv can be on the ballot as an independent. So I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that, so there's no misunderstanding or question about that,
Yeah,
especially the people that's in your district.
I mean, you all can always write my name in the primary if y'all don't want to vote for that other person. We don't talk about Broom. No, no, no.
We don't. Yeah, okay. Now let me ask you, going forward, like you had touched on it a little bit. Going forward, um, how has this changed the way you move now in the political arena?
Well, I'm definitely not as trusting,
Hmm.
which is sad. I'm really trying to work through that though. Like,
Okay.
as you know, Terry, I'm a Christian,
Right.
so
Right.
I'm really trying to not take offense to being offended, to being
Mm,
disrespected, to being erased, to being all the things, right? And trying to, like, because really, we're really trying to be like the person. I'm not trying to get too religious, but if we're trying to be like the
mm,
person that our faith is really mirrored about, right? Then we do have kind of a obligation to
Mhm.
move and not change the way we move because somebody did us away, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not there yet. A
Okay, okay. A work in
work
process.
in
Okay, yeah.
progress, but I do have the understanding of where I should be.
Okay.
and and prayerfully I'll get there.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Is there any other seats that you are looking at down in the future besides county council, besides county exec? Um, can you see yourself in a different arena, a different seat?
Um I mean, I can't say yes or no because I none of this was mine. This was God, like E may say, God's fault.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, never ever in my life what did anybody ever ask me what did you want to be when you grew up, and I was like a politician. Never ever, and
Mm,
I still don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself a public servant. Um, but never did I think I would be elected. I always thought my role was to advocate and stand up in the gap. But I mean, if you really serve in the position for the right reason, that's exactly what this role is. And so
mhm,
it wasn't a far leap, but I just never, and because I guess because I always saw politics play out in the way that it's played out, I never saw a role for like the advocate type of
mm.
um thing in politics. I just thought it was a bunch of positioning and grandstanding, if I'm being
Okay,
honest.
okay.
Um, and so, but then as I started seeing, the first, I want to say, well, I did work on my Play on Rena's campaign when she ran for judge years ago, and she taught
Right.
me a lot about the political process just working on her campaign. And then, '08 with Obama and just having this new energy of somebody who's like coming in like I'm not about these top people. I'm about the average person and like, oh, so the politics can look different. And
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
saw, Summer and Sarah and Mick and
Mhm,
Anita, all of
mhm.
those folks who were really centered around the people and
Mhm.
not around profit or corporations or whatever else motivates those other people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so when I saw that, I was um, along with the umpting of the Holy Ghost.
yeah,
um, that's what got me here. Like I was writing senators about taking money from the NRA, and God literally was
yeah.
tapping me like, "You could be them and not have to write them." And I was like, "Yeah, no, you're not talking to me." And then and
Wow.
then here we are, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I will never say never. However, I will say I have not, just like I didn't have my eye on the executive seat until I heard that from umpting from the Holy Ghost, like, yeah, I need you to do this.
yeah, yeah,
Um, that's where I get my leading from. So it's never been about what Liv was wanted to do or like Liv was trying to put herself up on a pedestal. I'm just literally trying to follow and be obedient to what I'm being told by Holy Spirit.
yeah,
And following that, it brought me here and put me in the place to be able to get a lot of work done. And so I'm just open to wherever the spirit wants me to go next. I don't know where that is,
yeah.
but I'm open to it, and we'll see where that lands.
Okay, there it is. There it is. And so I wanted to ask because I know the last time we were talking, and every time you and I get together, every time, and then be like, oh, I forgot to ask her this. I forgot. And so I want to ask you because a lot of people may not know. A lot of people may not know. I know for to be transparent, West Power, our organization took full advantage of the Black Equity Coalition grant, the funding, and we are with the COVID-19 and the making sure the information in the Black community. So I want to make sure that I'm being transparent with that. But I want to ask you, Liv, tell us everything you have worked on or passed, help pass? Tell us what you're doing that we may not know.
Man, I hope I remember it all because Terry, I'm not a person who likes taking this stuff down. I'm doing this work because it's necessary, right? Um, and so yeah, during COVID, um, because of the inequities that we saw off top with the response and testing during COVID and the under testing of our communities, we developed the Black Equity Coalition to really bring about that accountability and to bring those equitable solutions. So that's been a huge, undertaking,
Mhm,
and we've
mhm.
done work obviously in the city and county, across the state, across. I know that we've been at some national and even international tables. So and obviously pulled money and to be able to do and support organizations that
So
are out here doing the work
further.
around the principles and founding um, goals that we laid out when we founded the organization. So that's one of the things. And through that, I got my job at the state. So I work at
Mhm.
the PA Department of Health Office of Health Equity as the community health organizer for Allegheny County. And I know, super
Well,
long,
when
right?
did you want to
Right. When's that going to end? When y'all stop that title? Ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
And
Okay.
yes, so literally that literally has the same targets and goals as the Black Equity Coalition,
Okay.
really creating health equity across the state by using organizers like myself in their pockets of the state. And as we do our work in our pockets, then it'll ripple across the state to make a more healthy state, is what the idea is. So I go around and I do vaccine clinics and work around social determinants of health with different organizations. So I also consult with the Bethany Community Ministries doing vaccine clinics, senior care coordination. Um, I consult with Take Action Advocacy Group,
Mhm, mhm,
doing helping, doing whatever needs to happen there with complaints or helping to organize direct actions, police accountability, school board, going to council meetings, supporting
mhm.
people, court support. So that can look like a number of things. Um,
Tell
yeah,
us a little
and
bit
then
about the youth. You said you was great to do something with the youth, a youth committee or a
oh
youth
yes,
board.
so we the county council recently passed a motion to create a juvenile justice study group to talk and learn more about what juvenile justice could look like as we broach this conversation around Schumann and whether or not to reopen Schumann. I think most of us agree that Schumann in its form of what it was when it closed should definitely not be reopened.
Right,
But
right,
what should, like, we need some juvenile justice solution. What
right.
should that be? So we're meeting and discussing that. So some of the things I've passed, you did ask that. So
Yeah, yeah.
banned conversion therapy for our LGBTQIA folks,
Mhm.
banned hair discrimination for obvious reasons, um, ban fracking in the park for our environment. Um, made Juneteenth a countywide holiday before it was done in the city or federally. Declared racism as a public health crisis. Created the Independent Police Review Board. Passed paid sick leave.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
think those are the 7 major ones, but there's a whole bunch more like that. And those were the ones that I was really like either the primary sponsor or a co-sponsor on. But I mean, there's so many more,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much more. Um, that I've done and seek to do. You know, we're talking around minimum wage,
Yeah.
trying to talk around ethics, like ethics when it comes to political bodies, um, talk around, you know, how do we increase working workers in our jail, 911 center, and CYF, because all of them are underpaid, overworked, and we need to find solutions.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like
Wow.
we're really about our workers. We're really about our marginalized, or I'll say I am. So you will always see me fighting for those things, and we have done a. I think we've done a lot of shifting on council and gotten enough people like removed and changed seats that we do have a nice little cohort, or you know, a
Cool.
little group of us on council that typically vote together around these issues. And so we can actually get some work done,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
easier than we've gotten the past work done, where you heard what we've already gotten done. So as our council still moves and shifts through these elections and becomes, you know, more and more, I'll say more and more representative of what the people
Mhm.
actually want, because
Mhm.
everything we've done, people showed up for. When we passed the Independent Police Review Board, people showed up by the hundreds, not once, but
Yeah.
over and over to ensure that that passed. We heard over 200 comments to ban fracking in the park. The same
Mhm.
for conversion therapy. So when we're doing something, and that's what boggles me sometimes, is like, are y'all not listening to the people? Because
Mhm.
when we
Mhm.
passed banning and fracking in the park, for example, um, the county executive vetoed it. And like, you literally vetoed, we heard 300, 200 plus comments, and
Yeah.
you're literally going against the will of the people. So for us, like for me, it's never about, again, like what Liv wants. And even when I joked about hair discrimination, I actually got that motivation out of what was happening at Central Catholic when they were
Mhm.
targeting a young man
Mhm.
for wearing natural hair such as cornrows. And
Yeah.
you remember that? That's
Yes,
what
I
did
do.
it.
Yes, I do.
That's
Yes,
what
I
did
do.
it.
I sure do. I remember that very vividly. And so yeah, and I wanted to ask you that because you know what, sometimes Liv, and anyone who knows you know that you do not, you know, hey, I did this, look over here, look over here. Everybody knows that that is not, you know, that's not you. But I also wanted to make sure that people know exactly what you have been doing, and you know, give you your flowers while you're here. You know, pat you. I mean, because if you know, because if we don't, no one will. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, because a lot of times, like you said, you're in it. You're in it. And so you're doing this, and then 3, 4 days later, you're on to something else. And so we haven't, you know, so just to make sure that people is knowing that you're not just sitting in your council seat, you are actually working. And I'm glad you touched on some of the things that you are going to be working on coming up. So I wanted to make sure, you know, that people keep their eye open for that. And so, a couple more questions, and I'm gonna let you go because I think you have your grandbabies.
Uh, um, she just left.
Oh, okay,
The
okay,
little one, I had the 1-year-old because I call it, I always say I need some Poppy time because that's her name, Poppy.
okay.
But she just lights my little world up. So I'm like, I need a Poppy fix. I ain't seen her. Bring her over here. I need to.
I know that's right. I know that's right. And so, I'm not going to keep you long, but a couple more questions. One of them is, Liv, what would you tell someone? You know, because as you said, it's not something that like you wake up and say, you know what, I'm running for this. You know, and you listened, you know, to be led. And so I know, Fawn. I don't know why I have that echo. I don't know. It's me, Fawn. I know. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I have an echo. Everything, I don't know. Sorry. Just give
Yeah,
us
I
a
thought it
couple.
maybe even if I turn my side down that would
I
help.
think it's me. I don't know. I don't know, Fawn. I think it's me. But we only got a couple more questions. My next question is, what would you say to someone that is thinking about? running, because they have concerns. They may want to change something. And what would you say to someone that don't know how to run for office? And what advice would you give them for the first steps?
Well, I would say know what you're wanting to do first,
Mm-hmm.
know where that sits. Because I feel like oftentimes folks just kind of like throw them like, oh, I'm gonna just run for this seat and do this, and it's like, um,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, sir, person, that doesn't even apply to that seat. So you might want to run for the right seat. So for example, when I ran, um, we were in the midst of protests around police accountability after the what's his name? Michael, what's his name's verdict came down. Um, and and when that happened, it was that whole time was the whole reinvigoration of the calling for the Independent Police Review Board,
Mm-hmm.
which I knew sat with the county council. So that's, make sure you know why your why and connect that why to the right seat. So if you want to impact, education in elementary and post and elementary and secondary education, then you probably want to run for school board. If you want to impact zoning or you know your local garbage collection and your local police and things like that, that's your city council, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So know exactly what your target is, and then know what seat it is that actually will help you accomplish that. So those are my first two things. Once you figure that out, then I would say go to um a, a ready to run, but I would even go deeper because I heard some other things. I heard some other training programs out there that I think
Mm-hmm.
be even more beneficial, because I'm no shade to Ready to Run, but
Yeah.
um, they really went through like they probably went through the first part, like the fundraising,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how to make a do a committee. They even and this wasn't even part of the curriculum, but one of the candidates brought it up when I went through it, was like even opening the bank account and what banks were good and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. However, they didn't go through the stuff that will actually send you to jail, like your
Yeah.
financial reports, right? And your statements of financial interest and your ethics, like and so those are extremely important. And I think that I would suggest for a person who wants to run for office to try to take or find a training that includes all of that, or possibly take a Ready to Run that'll give you like the semantics, but another training that will give you like the core and keep your butt out of trouble, right? So
Now I know Emerge. Emerge is very, very good. I took Emerge.
okay,
Yeah, Emerge is really, really good. I'll have to give them their props. I didn't do the Ready to Run. You said Ready to Run. I didn't do that
yes.
one, but Emerge was really, really good. But before we let you go, I don't, like I said, I don't want to keep you too long. Is there just anything else you would like to say to us before? Of course, I'm going to bring you back. You're like the steady person now.
I love it because me and you could just talk forever.
You
So
know.
and we can always find something to talk about.
Yes, yes. So that's what I was saying. Like I'll bring up, because there's a couple topics I want to talk about. Besides, you know what I'm saying? So I will definitely be bringing you back. Um, just to pick your brain. You know what I'm saying? Just to
Love
pick your
it.
brain, see what's going on, what's coming up. But again, before we call it the night, is there anything that you would like to say to our viewers, to your district, to whatever you would like to say, closing out?
Well, of course, first I want to thank you for having me again and for you offering your platform on a continuous basis. Like that means a lot, and I don't take that for granted. Obviously, my coordinator on the backside that You mentioned Miss Fawn. Of course,
Yes.
I want to thank her and my committee who have been ride or die
Mhm.
and have been really working it out for me and this campaign throughout. Um, but and to my constituents and the folks who have been steady support, thank you, and I see you,
Mm.
and I appreciate you. So yeah, like I think that, just closing out, I'll just share that we are still looking for folks to do house parties, canvas. We, as I mentioned, we still need 350 signatures throughout my district. Um, so you can find all that info at votelive.com. You can reach out to us if you want to sign or circulate a petition, if you want to host a house party. I will be at Nobleman next Thursday doing a guest bartending, so stop through. It starts at 6, I want to say.
Where's that at?
Nobleman's in Penn Hills.
Okay.
Nice cigar bar, black owned group of brothers. So yeah, if you've never been, come check it out because it's really it's that spot. It's that new adult sexy spot.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And you can took on some cigars, eat some good food. The food's bomb.
I think one of
Food
one of
is
the owners was went to Dubai with us.
okay. Okay, who was that? Oh, we probably can't
Mhm.
say it. I'll
I
ask you after. I
remember
was
he was
like,
like,
"Who?"
he was like, I own a cigar place in Penn Hills, and we was like, what? Yeah, so it was like black owned cigar
Yes,
place because I didn't know nothing about it, and we kept saying, my husband kept saying, I'm gonna go. So that could be a good time for us to
that
visit.
would be a great time for
Um,
y'all to come
right.
through.
And so let me
Don't
ask
come
you: is
here.
you said, and there's how can somebody else get in touch with you? You said, what is the website?
Oh, the website is www.voteliv.com.
Okay.
And you can find all things there: issues, platform, donation, the link to donate. You can reach out to us if you, like I said, if you want to sign a petition, host a house party. We're doing all the things because we are still actively in a campaign.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
We are still running, and so we are still actively in a campaign. So we still need your funds. We still need your support, and we still need what I call boots in the street.
Well, thank you, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. As Liv said, she still needs 350 signatures, and then she also, told you how to get in touch with her. And if you have any questions to ask Liv that you may not that you may have, may be curious about, ask Liv. Ask her, get the answer straight from her, and or hit me and ask and let me know when you want her to be back. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Liv, I want to say thank you so much for always opening the door for us here at West Empower. And I keep looking at Fawn's message. There's a small echo. I know, I know. I'm so sorry. And I'm so sorry, sis. I don't know where the echo's coming from. I really don't. So I am so sorry for that. But thank you again for opening the door for our West Empower, always being available for us. Um, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, please reach out to Liv for a county council seat. She does still need assistance. She needs you to volunteer. She needs door knockers. She needs some funding, and she needs your support. So, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Thank you, Liv. Thank you for everything. And with that, I love you and good night, ladies and gentlemen.